Stephen Mansfield, New York Times bestselling author and speaker.
Doug Tenapo, I'm the creator of Earthworm Jim.
Tweet Groups.
I'm Victor Dweck.
Joseph Carter, I'm the Mink Man.
This is Dave Baker from Forged in Fire.
This is Leah Morgan. I'm a comedian, and this is why you should never
Never.
Not ever.
Don't waste your time.
Oh, you really should.
listen to those darling, yummy Reverend and the Reprobate.
Well, hey, let's start the show, man. Everybody, welcome to the Reverend and the Reprobate.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Lucas Pinkard. I today will be playing the part of the Reverend, and
I'm myself, the Reprobate, Dan Gibson, a.k.a. the fun, awesome, handsome one.
Sweet, clean Danley.
With a shaved beard this time.
Yeah. Well, you did it last week, and now it's
growing back slowly.
Growing back in slowly. It's fine, though. It shows you've got a healthy face shape.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I have multiple
chins.
Thank you for saving that, because I did not have a follow-up. I was like, I don't know where I'm going with this.
I'm sorry, I feel like a jerk.
Chins.
Yeah, but less than you had before we started our Abs Before Christmas 2025.
We're making progress.
We are.
We never said that we would have a six-pack at the end of this last year.
Right. And who could blame us?
We will in a couple years.
Yeah. So since the last time we got together, I've survived COVID, which has been crazy.
I had a sinus infection.
You poor thing. A sinus infection that took hold of your tooth, which I'd never heard of before.
Sinus tooth pain. It's a real thing.
Yeah.
I thought for sure I was going to have to go into surgery, and then it just went away. And I was like, okay.
And the dentist was like, yeah, so was your nose stuffed up?
Yeah, it was a sinus issue. Okay, well, I feel like an idiot now.
Great.
For sure, I need surgery.
Next time
it's
I get
just
a
sinus infection.
Next time I get a cavity, I'm going to take some Flonase and a Zyrtec and just be like, no, this will fix it. It's totally...
Quit being a wuss.
Totally the mountain cedar that is causing this issue.
You don't need Novocaine. You need sinus...
Oragel?
Yeah, you need a sinus rinse.
Benzodrex. Oh, like I need a neti pot.
Yeah, I have one.
I've got one too.
It works great.
Yeah, but they're disgusting.
It is kind of weird.
So the first time I did that, I kept my mouth closed because I didn't know you were supposed to open your mouth, and I thought I was drowning. I waterboarded myself trying to clear out my sinuses.
With warm salt water.
Yeah, with warm salt. I've got it poured, and I'm like... Finally, my mouth opens, and it all just pours out my mouth because it had taken up...
There's all kinds of things you need to know before you do that.
There is.
There's several. Like, you don't want to, when you're pouring it, you don't want to try and help the flow by blowing your nose, because then it goes down your throat.
Goes down your throat.
There's so many things that don't do this, because then it'll just go down your throat.
Yeah, tilt your head sideways, open up your mouth, and then just
tell everyone to hold completely still.
Yeah,
no sudden movements. Take the dogs outside.
We've gotten way off track.
Yeah, Lee Hardin.
Yeah, Lee Hardin is on our show today.
Special guest Lee Hardin.
Now that my
I'm
taste
sorry for talking about
of sense, smell, and comedy is back, we brought on Lee Hardin. Thank you.
Nice.
Lee Hardin is a dry bar comic. You'll hear us talk about all this stuff in the interview, but he's a dry bar comedian.
He's a comedian.
We found out about
he has
him
an outreach program to prisoners.
to farming prisoners.
Yeah, they did one time.
He's one half of the podcast we talked about with Jeremy Nunez.
Yep, dynamite dropping.
But Lee Hardin is one up on Jeremy because Lee turned on his camera.
Yep, he has a camera.
Yeah, so if you watch the Jeremy Nunez interview...
And he doesn't have a wife that he has to ask for.
Yeah, he doesn't. He is living the dream, getting to just be...
Yeah, dude, he's got
a
bunch of
comedian.
Guitars. He's got motorcycles. He's on the road doing comedy, making people laugh.
I won't say that I wasn't a little jealous. That there were, he was talking about...
All the guitars? Or?
No, he was talking about all of that stuff, and I was like, I remember...
Eating terrible on the road?
I remember when I was a free man and could just go buy a motorcycle without having to get permission after 10 days of begging quietly. Like, look, I bought you flowers.
It's the discussions.
Yeah, they're the worst. Lee doesn't have to deal with that.
Also, we love our wives.
Yeah, they're great. Love you, Kirsten and Heather. In that order. So, for me.
Yeah.
You should reverse it. Anyway, Lee was a great interview. We hope that you guys enjoyed. He's got a lot of funny stuff, a lot of insight into what comedy's been like for him during COVID, and kind of a different take on it than some of the other people that we've talked to, as his journey and experience has been a little different just all the way through. So, without further ado,
Lee Hardin, LeeHardinComedy.com.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another exciting interview for the Reverend and Reprobate podcast. Today we have with us one of the first guests that was recommended to us by another guest. We had Jeremy Nunez on a couple of weeks ago who was hilarious, and he was like, I have a friend that is funnier and better looking than me that you have to get on your podcast, because Jeremy didn't give us any video. He is the co-host.
And he has a camera.
Yeah, he's the co-host for Dynamite Drop-In. He's got a wonderful dry bar comedy special that is on YouTube. The links are in the show notes or in our little in a description here, so make sure that you check it out. He does warm-ups for the Mike Huckabee show, which we just found out about off air, which is really cool. So I got a ton of questions for him about that. But without further ado, welcome to the show, Mr. Lee Hardin. How you doing, man?
Thank you. I feel one camera better than Jeremy Nunez.
Oh yeah.
He was telling us, he was like, yeah,
Hashtag pray for Jeremy.
I can do the video thing, but I've got to like ask for my wife's phone, and that'll be a whole way. Like, no, it's fine. Don't worry about it.
Don't go ask your wife.
Yeah, we'll find a good picture of you, and we'll make it work. So we've talked with several comedians about the way that the virus has affected their lives. And so I want to just touch on that before we dive into some of this other stuff, because you were like Leanne Morgan and like Jeremy, you had this really good steep upward trajectory, and then COVID hits, and it seems like it took sort of the bottom out of the industry. What's your experience been like since COVID sort of took over the world, and what are you up to these days in order to try to keep making people laugh?
Right, man. It's things I never thought I would do. I can tell you that. The thing is, I went full time in late December of 2019. I had my job with Apple, and I was getting busy enough for 2020. And I was kind of frustrated with my job anyway. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to take a leap. I'm booked at least till June. I should be okay. And as we know, 2020 happened, and you break up with a girl, like, I don't need her. 2 months later, I'm so sorry for everything I did.
You're like, 2020 is my year, baby. Here we go.
Right. I got cocky. No, but it worked itself out. I had sat on enough. I'd built up enough like backup money in case gigs fell flat or something. So I'd tried to play it smart as I could. But yeah, it took the work away from all of us, and tried to find extra jobs, driving DoorDash and whatnot, all those side hustles. And later on in the year, some gigs were coming back in, but not enough to like every weekend. You're not gone every weekend. Zoom comedy. That I never thought I would do Zoom comedy.
So what is that like?
I've heard about that.
Yeah, so we've interviewed some people that have told us that they've had to do Zoom comedy. What's that like as a comedian doing Zoom comedy?
It's, man, when you do stand up, you do enough weird gigs to go, I just got to take the money and run. So, when you do comedy on a farm for prisoners, you learn. Which that really happened. That was a true story.
Okay.
We'll get to that later if you want.
Yeah, please. I'm really intrigued by this.
Yeah. Done corporate gigs where they put you in the middle of a lobby where people are walking by, and they just hand you a mic and a PV amp and go, here you go. So you got to have enough weird gigs to prep you for situations. And luckily, as comedians, you get those. It just wasn't my preference, but if they're going to pay, $75 for half an hour, I'm like, yeah, I'll do that. That'll be great. Yeah. And it ended up being better than I expected. And over 2020, I got really back into guitar playing because I had a lot of downtime. And so I started adding that at the end of some Zoom gigs, just not comedy with guitar, just going, hey guys, here's some bonus entertainment. Here's what I spent my time doing. Just wanted to share it with you guys. Just, again, not comedy, but I just wanted to add a little something extra.
Just really working the scales, huh?
Yeah.
Right. That joke did not fall flat.
Yes.
That was a major, good cadence.
Thank you, Lee Hardin.
So, but it ended up being, I kept expectations proper, and, you met some cool people, and I saw smiles on their faces at the end. And that's the objective. You change the moods. you let them forget about what's going on for a little bit, and so that was enough. That worked. That was good.
Yeah, I had heard with the Zoom comedy that some of the roughest or probably the hardest part about that is that everyone mutes their mics, and you're, at least if if you're in a big entry to a corporate office, at least maybe you get a smile or someone acknowledges that you're,
right.
You can kind of get a feel for how you're doing. But is that what it's like? Everyone mutes their mics and you're just running through your show?
Basically, luckily a couple of people, like 3 or 4, would unmute, and that's enough to go, okay, at least I can get...
Yeah, at least I'm getting a laugh out of somebody.
Something, yeah. So what's bad is, like, if they were... I think there was once where they were all unmuted, but no one laughed for like 15 minutes.
Oh,
I was about to ask what.
I just suck. Okay, that's what's good.
Yeah, I was going to ask, what would be the worst part? Being unmuted, everyone unmuted in chaos, but at least you get some laughs or silence.
Yeah.
Right.
Does it mess with the timing for the jokes whenever you're not able to hear the laugh and stuff from people?
Yeah, I mean, immediate reactions, like, that's the key factor on knowing if you're funny or not. I mean, if they laugh 5 seconds later at a real show, you're going, all right, I need to tighten that up. I need to figure out a way to get them to understand what I'm saying better. But Zoom comedy, you just kind of go anticipate the delay. And if they're still not laughing, you're just like, ooh, okay, I need to work on this. But it's, I've heard this comparison. It's not mine, but an audience for comedians, like strings for a guitar. I mean, you engage and then you get an immediate reaction. You need that immediate reaction. So Zoom comedy just makes it an obstacle, not impossible.
It's tough, yeah.
So
have you been heckled over Zoom yet?
Ooh, good question.
No, I think they just leave the meeting. So.
Oh yeah, because I was gonna say that I know for the Bible studies that we've done that when somebody has a comment, if I'm the one who started the Zoom,
I was gonna say I can
just
them.
mute them.
Yeah.
Somebody starts talking in the middle of it, I'm like, no, it's not a time for questions. Mute
right.
you.
Like, you wish you could do that in real life.
Yeah. So, I mean,
you could even rename them, I think, right? You could say jerk, rename jerk, mute.
I think if Zoom comedy continues, that could be a perk for you guys, is just being able to mute the room. And whenever you find somebody, you know what? I don't like the way that you did, or the person with the annoying laugh.
Now we just need to apply that for live shows where you can somehow mute the person that's heckling.
That'd be great.
Silence your voice. Yeah.
So talk to us about this gig that you did.
I want to hear about the prison comedy.
On the prison farm.
I'm guessing you might have been there based on your knuckle bling.
Yeah, for sure.
He's serving probation right now.
That's it.
He's serving out the rest of his sentence.
Yeah. No, man, that was a gig early on in comedy, 6 months in. You get a random email, hey, we want to hire you, and you say yes to everything at first, or even now. But I was like, yeah, I'll do it. And it's like a 10-hour drive. I get there, I find out the gig is going to be outside and on a farm, and then it's for prisoners. And I'm just naive. I'm just like, oh yeah, this is where every comedian gets their start.
Yeah, the prison gig. Yeah,
everybody's had the prison gig.
Yeah, Seinfeld did a ton of comedy gigs on farm. Yeah, he did all of them. That's cutting his teeth. And I get there, and the guy that books me, he's like, hey, we're excited you're here. I know this isn't your ideal crowd, but you never know who's going to be here. And I'm like, that's what I'm afraid of.
But he's making it sound like George Shapiro is sitting in the audience at the prison farm.
Yeah, there's a bunch of top-notch comedians doing time.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
and at the back, there's Shapiro and Shandling and a couple other people that'll you'll be discovered at the prison farm.
So how did that go? Did you kill?
They got him, made him pop.
Thank you.
Man, they didn't know. They didn't know they were getting a comedian.
Oh man.
They were like, here's Lee Hardin. So I'm up there telling jokes, and they don't know I'm telling jokes. So I'm looking like the crappiest motivational speaker ever.
Ooh.
Like, they're not motivated. It's not working. There's a horse 5 feet away from me just staring at me.
Well, were you on a trailer or something, or you were just standing on the grass?
I was on grass. I was on
Okay.
straight up grass, and there's a horse just right there, and I'm looking at him. He's by himself, and I'm like, "Man, that horse is the only animal on the farm. That's really sad." And I can tell he's looking at me, going, "Bomb in front of prisoners," and he's going, "Nope, that's really sad." Yeah, and I walk off grass. Like it's like 30 minutes of silence, and I'm done. Get off stage or get off the grass, and I get paid, and which was cool because I'm like, paid gig, great.
Yeah.
And the guy that pays me, he's like, "Look, I know that was rough, but you were a lot better than what we had last year." And I was like, "What did you have last year?" It's like, "Nothing."
Oh, well, there you
okay,
go.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah, you're better than nothing.
Nice telling me better than
Congratulations.
nothing.
That's wow.
Yeah, see, originally when you mentioned doing comedy for prisoners, I was imagining the Johnny Cash, coming out to a round of applause from prisoners that are dying for entertainment. But it sounded like they were just not into it, and also weren't aware that there was going to be a comedian on stage or on
they
the
could
grass.
escape anytime they wanted. And I thought they hated me, like because again, not one reaction the whole time,
Right.
And then but they all came up one by one. They were really nice. They kept saying "tough crowd," like they had nothing to do with it.
like
We're
they
the
were.
crowd.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
and-
laughed, but I don't.
They didn't want to get caught laughing. Maybe
I don't know.
Right, maybe.
So-
and then I had these thought they hated me, but I had these shirts for sale after the show, and they bought all of my shirts, which was awesome.
and they paid with cigarettes and.
Yeah, except now I have all these cartons of cigarettes that I don't know what to do with. So try selling cigarettes after a show. It doesn't, without your name on it, it doesn't work.
So a lot of your comedy is based off of like your life. It's very relatable stuff. So I imagine going into a prison of any kind where maybe they haven't been part of society for 6-8 months or years, right?
Yeah,
that had to have been challenging.
For sure. And I was so new, and I've got just, when you're 6 months in, you just have like clever one-liners. You don't really have anything personal you talk about on stage yet, or at least I didn't.
Right.
So, hopefully by now, 7 years in, I can connect with the crowd a little bit more. Like, the more you do it, you kind of get to, you're still nervous, but good nerves. But when you're with an audience and you need to take time to just, all right, I'm going to talk to him for a second. It may not be funny, but I'm going to try to connect. You want to get to a joke quick, but there's times where you're like, all right, let's connect. There might be something funny to point out, here. Because, unrehearsed, unplanned in the moment, those are often the best reactions you get from a crowd. So, yeah.
So prisoners are not really in your target audience. Who
At this point, I'll go back. I would go back. I'm not. I did things I never thought I would do this year. So, yeah, I would go back.
Sweet. Well, I think you should. I mean, if anyone needs a laugh, it's probably prisoners that are also going through the pandemic. And,
Right now especially.
But I am curious about growing up in church. As a funny guy. What did you put that poor youth pastor through?
Man, I don't know. We had a pretty old youth pastor, so he was 50. He was already going through quite a bit. So yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know if that's a story I want to get into.
Let's do it.
I don't know. It's not funny. I mean, maybe it's funny to you guys. He took us hiking once, and he was a very outdoorsy guy, and he took us off a trail. Like they have designated hiking trails. He went off a trail. We're climbing up a 30-foot hill with no footholds or anything, and everyone else is biting their teeth going through with it. And I'm pretty vocal at this point, and I'm every 5 minutes just saying how stupid this was.
That's what I pictured.
Yeah, and didn't know I was going to be a comedian yet, but I was just pointing out how dumb all it is, and rock rolls down and hits me, and
you brought us out to our deaths. Thanks, Pastor.
Yeah,
thanks, Dave. Yeah. So I was, I put him through some scrutiny. I couldn't control my mouth, but I was never like, outside of that one time, I was never vicious. I was always looking for something dumb to say, and I don't want to bury him. He was a great he was a great youth pastor. But no, that for the most part, they liked me being silly. I just wanted to be the silly guy. I thought that was the way to go, to be silly, make people laugh. Even before I knew I was going to be a stand-up comedian, I just wanted to be the butt of the joke. So
well, it's working for you. We've both watched your Dry Bar comedy special. It was hysterical. One of the things that you talk about that I can relate to is being single in your 30s, especially like around church people. Now, I just got married this past March, but I was the pastor of a church as a single guy, and to kind of tell some stories on our pastoral search committee, was asked during the interview whether or not I was gay or was just a non-practicing homosexual, because they had never seen me like dating anybody. But there were some things, and I'm wondering if you had the same experience, that there are like key words that people would use that you could associate with things. Like if somebody says that she really loves Jesus, it probably means that she's ugly. Or
right.
like, yeah.
That was always a good, I want to sidestep for a quick second. I like that they treated you like you were in middle school. Like,
it was great. Yeah, it was really cool.
You're single? What, are you gay?
I mean, your questions that needed answers. What the best part was I had already worked at the church for like 3 years, so they were getting to ask me questions in this closed door meeting that I know other people were like, "No, you've got to ask him if he's gay.
Yeah,
we've got to know."
I tried to set him up with my granddaughter, and I told him she loved Jesus and that she loves church and she wants a bunch of kids. He wasn't interested.
Loves Jesus means ugly. Loves to serve means that she's heavy set, because she's eating all the time.
She loves serving food.
She really wants a full quiver, means she's crazy. Like there's all these little tags that are in there. So I'm wondering if you had similar experiences.
Different Christian euphemisms.
Yeah.
Is what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Send your hate mail. All right. Send the hate mail. All right. I know lately, like doing church comedy, I try not to talk about being single as much, because sure enough, there's going to be an older man with his awkward as all get out daughter right next to him, like, "Hey, single," and then he walks away, and I'm stuck talking to someone. And again, I'm not like, "Hey, I'm not going to be mean. I'm happy they're at the show," but I'm just like, just tried to set us up. All right.
Yeah. A dad hands a for sale sign to his daughter. It says, "Please date me," and then like leaves you alone with her.
Right. Yeah, it's happened. But very similar. Loves the Lord type of stuff. Has a job. That's a big one.
That's important. Yeah.
Has a job. Office manager. They're always office managers. Like,
oh wow.
Yeah. Every single. I feel like any woman in their 30s is single. So many office managers that are.
So
they love hiking, and they're an office manager. So
those are the two worst things that you could be to live in my house.
So what's your deal? Are you gay?
No, man, far from it.
Just a joke. Just a callback.
It was good. You said, like, do you do stand up? Like, you sound like you know the.
No, but I kind of want to.
Do it. Why not?
I have a list of reasons why not. Between me and his wife and his 10-year-old,
my wife says
no.
Reasons why not. My wife says that I wouldn't do well. In that. Lots of other things she thinks I will. But.
Yeah, you're a great office manager.
I am. I'm an office manager.
That's what he actually does.
But no, I love comedy. I really think, we started this podcast. It was it July of 2020?
Yep.
It really helped me get out, where I've been at home for so long. It helps me to connect to people. But I really think that comedy and laughter is what we need more than ever right now. So I'm passionate about that. I enjoy laughing. If I get to come once a week and crack up with awesome people like yourself, then there are worse things to do with your time.
Yeah, and it's nice to be able to know some of the lingo, so that whenever comedians say something, that we're not like, "Oh yeah, that's cool." Quick Google what this means, and then come back and be like, "So you were talking about your tight five, which means the 5 minutes that you're on." So stuff like that. So what do you think in the last like really 18 months, so prior to COVID and
Yeah.
sort of encompassing that, what do you think really helped you to make the leaps that you were making prior to the pandemic? Because the Dry Bar comedy special is great.
Thank you.
The comedy stuff that you've written and the other things that we've seen, you're hilarious on the podcast that you and Jeremy do together. What do you think has made the difference for you that's helped to kind of propel you to where you can do this full time? What was that? Is there one thing, or were there like a series of things that you just kind of figured out?
Oh, yeah, that's a solid question. I don't know. I like to write down life lessons when I'm doing road gigs, and just as like reminders. If you have a bad show, you doubt yourself, and I can look back and go, no, I'm not horrible at this. I know I can do this because I've done it. And it's kind of a snowball thing. You put yourself out there to get on the road, and then a booker from that show was like, hey, I want to hire you for this show. And so you just kind of, hopefully enough people see you and like you to carry you to another location. It's just a matter of putting yourself out there more and more. And some people are going to like you. Some people are not going to like you. And when you start looking at your calendar a few years down the road, I'm still figuring this out, by the way. But when I started looking at, I'm gone this weekend, I'm gone that weekend, I'm gone this weekend, I'm getting paid what for that? Wow, okay, that's 2 weeks of my old job. That's amazing. You just start looking at the resume you kind of built, and you just, with that you get more confidence, and that's where I was at to go full time. I probably did it prematurely. Should have been more out of debt than what I was to do it, but I saw the calendar. I saw that I was booked. I saw that I was going to have to ask off for work anyway. And I saw that I was going to be making equal to the same amount of money I was making at my old job. So I just, I calculated it a little bit, and then, ventured out. And so
that's one of the things I know
It's
you're
awesome.
You are a guitar player and you love like the classic rock and then the old like outlaw country era stuff. So I'm sure you're familiar with the Rolling Stones guitar player Ron Wood, who used to play for the Faces. In his biography, one of the things that he said is that he knew he had to quit his job so that he didn't have something to fall back on, so that he would have to take music more seriously.
right.
And so
that's scary.
that's what he did.
That's-
Yeah, and it sounds like that may be, kind of you're at that point where you're like, all right, this is either going to be my living or it isn't, but now's the time to take that chance.
Yeah, and again, no one saw what was gonna come last year, and so you can feel silly, but again, it's no one knew that was gonna happen. But that approach that guitar player took is that's very gutsy. That is burning your boat down. That is you get to the battle and burn your boat. So that's a good take on it. So forcing yourself to make that a living for you. So,
Yeah. So what's been your favorite part about doing comedy? What's the thing that speaks to you the most whenever you get to do comedy, and what's the best part about being a comedian for you?
I don't know. It's freaky that you're like, I've got this idea. I wonder how far I could take this. And that's early on when I took a joke writing class, like putting thoughts on paper, and you're just going, oh man, it'd be cool to get these on stage, and you do it. And then you're like, oh man, it'd be cool to get paid for this. And then that happens. It's just freaky to get paid for something you want to do. And it's freaky that you get paid to be creative. You're just like, I don't overlook these little gigs that I have where they cover a hotel. I'm like, oh my gosh, you're going to cover a hotel for me to tell jokes? Even if it's a terrible paying gig, I still freak out that someone thought of me enough to cover a hotel. So just, every day I'm kind of blown away that I get to, I've gotten to write stuff down on paper or notes, try it on stage, get a reaction, and that reaction is enough to get you more work. So that freaks me out that it's even possible, because you grow up watching it, you don't know how they get started, you see it unfold. So just, honestly, it's overwhelming every day that I even get to tell jokes and pay some bill. I paid off my student loans with stand-up comedy money.
Yeah, congratulations.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's freaky.
That's crazy.
To me. Yeah.
You did that with jokes.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. And then you got to be careful when you do this because you don't want to be too self-absorbed, where you're like, I need to make sure people think I'm funny. Even comedians that aren't church comedians like Seinfeld, Michael Jr. are very much like, you've got a service, you've got a calling. This is a selfless act for that crowd. Worry about changing their night. Worry about changing their mood. Giving laughs to the crowd. And because it's rewarding when you get that. Like, and you can cut me off if I'm rambling, but I've just I don't know. I've done shows where an audience member came up and they talked about the horrible year that they had, losing relatives and just not having anything to look forward to, not having anything to laugh about, and then them looking you in the eye and telling you, "Thanks for giving me something to laugh about." You'll get some real moments like that. It's not every show, but you get people that will talk about what they've gone through and that the impact your few minutes on stage had. And so, doing things for fundraisers where they are working in foster care and they see a lot of messy stuff, and then you get to do an event for them, and then they send you an email going, "Hey, we see a lot of garbage, so we all needed this. So thanks for coming." I think you need those things to remind you, okay, this isn't about me as much. I mean, I'm on stage, people are looking at me. It's weird not to like be narcissistic to be even doing it, but when you can see the impact of, oh, okay, so their mood changed a little bit. This should be why I do this. So
yeah, it's a high calling. I mean, it's the same thing with the USO and going overseas and entertaining the troops. And those guys see a lot of stuff, and being able to give them a laugh is a real opportunity and a blessing, I think. So that's awesome, man.
So you've talked a few times about being a church comedian. Obviously, with Drive By, you're in clubs, and a lot of places you're doing those kind of things. When you set out to do comedy, was being a clean comic, was that something that you set out to do, or did that just come naturally because of who you are?
Yes to both. I mean, I like all sorts of comedy. Funny is funny to me. That's kind of where I'm at. But my favorite guys like, Seinfeld, Gaffigan, Sinbad, they all were pretty much clean.
Sinbad is somebody that I have not thought about in forever, but he had I
remember that awful sweater that he wore. I don't remember what special it was, but he had a terrible sweater, but he killed. He was awesome.
Yeah, and then he had a show for a while.
Yeah.
I don't think I saw that.
The sitcom?
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched that sitcom.
I loved it as a kid.
Me too. It's hard to be that funny naturally, because he'll tell you in podcasts and interviews, he's not a writer. He performs. He just gets on stage. He has thoughts, he has ideas, but he just knows how to bring it out, and he knows how to just make everybody else funny.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Those guys are gems.
He connects with the crowd like, I don't know. He's got connection and charisma, and those are stuff I'm envious of. Some people have to work really hard to get decent on stage, and that's where I consider myself. I'm like, I've had to work really hard to be average.
That is the story of our lives.
Yeah. Yeah, I can relate.
Yeah. We are on the treadmill of life running to be average. And then Sinbad gets to be in the smash hit holiday classic Jingle All the Way just with his natural
favorite Christmas movie. Yeah. Dude, that is my favorite Christmas movie of all time.
Every time I hear that title, I think of Conan O'Brien.
With the fake Arnold.
Jingle all the way.
It's terrible.
Well, hey, let's talk about your stand-up a little bit, because I've got an issue. So you talk about how you love Taco Bell, right?
Oh man.
Oh yes.
My problem with Taco Bell is that they dropped the double-decker taco.
It's a shame. I remember when that came out, that Shaquille O'Neal and Dave Robinson did a commercial for that.
Yeah,
I remember that commercial. Yeah, it was a big deal. That was the first taco I loved at Taco Bell.
Yeah,
was the double.
It was the best thing on the menu, and I gotta say I don't go to Taco Bell very often since it's off.
I will say the next good thing that Taco Bell puts on the menu will be the first. With being in Texas, we've got like so many different institutions, but it's okay in a jam.
Yeah, it is.
I'll throw that out there. So if you were, because I know you do talk a lot about being a fast foodie, if you were to rank, like if you're on the road, what are your top 5 fast food places that you look for? Because Taco Bell's obviously that's your safety net because it's everywhere.
It's everywhere.
But
Yeah,
regionally, you get to check out some different things in different regions of the country. What are the best fast food joints that we need to check out?
For sure. I mean, when I was in Texas, I think for about a week, I mean, I basically alternated between Whataburger, In-N-Out. I just,
Yeah.
And then someone would recommend another local burger place nearby, and I was like, absolutely. So let me check it out. Where's your next burger and shake place? I'm going. Steakhouse, let me know I'm going. But yeah, Whataburger and In-N-Out if you're in Texas, which actually they have Whataburger in Alabama now. So
congratulations, Alabama.
Yeah, I just went to Missouri for a family member's wedding this last week, and I crossed the border into Kansas driving, and I couldn't find a Whataburger, and I was like, "This is bullcrap."
I'm leaving.
What am I supposed to eat?
All right, so Whataburger, In-N-Out. Who else you got?
Yeah, and it's not technically fast food, but regionally in the East Coast, Virginia, Pennsylvania, there's a gas station chain that's got made-to-order sandwiches called Sheetz.
Yes.
Wawa is also. Haven't done Wawa, but Sheetz is phenomenal. Their meatball sub is, I like it's. I guess technically gas station food, but it's freaking good gas station food. Good. Like, I'm probably not the best advice for food because everything's going to be deep fried that I'm talking about.
That does sound like
that's good.
We came to the right source then.
Yeah, that's good.
Love's Truck Stop. I say Love's Truck Stop because they have egg rolls that are probably some of the best egg rolls I've ever had. They're on that rotating thing that no one eats. I eat those, and I love those meat tornadoes they have. I mean, yeah, I love them. They're great. Everyone's like, "That's gross." I'm like, "Well, I haven't died yet, so."
Yeah, there you go. Don't tell me.
Things.
Yeah, here in Texas, we've got a lot of the gas station.
We do have Love's, QT, and Racetrack.
I was going to say, we've got a lot of the taquerias that are in gas stations, and those can be pretty killer.
Mm-hmm. Like you roll around to the back of the gas station, there's like a lady slaughtering a goat, and it's going right into your taco.
It's great.
That actually happened in Louisville.
Put some green sauce on it, and I'm happy.
Yeah.
So I love it. Yeah, because I feel like in Texas, like you can go to any gas station and get really great Mexican food.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. So do you guys have Cookout over in your area, or is that a little further to the east? Yeah.
What's Cookout?
Cookout is the greatest fast food chain that it's not in Texas, in my opinion, because you can go there and get absolutely anything, and it's all good.
It's $8 for like a 3-course meal, basically.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
for $10 you can eat for 2 days at Cookout
burger,
easily.
Corn dog, nuggets, fries, all in one dish, and that's like $8.
Yeah,
So.
and a friggin' delicious milkshake.
Well, this has been Fast Food Talk with Lee Hardin.
Are you heading out? You're gonna go find a Cookout now?
Yeah.
So I've got a quick question about your attire from your stand-up special.
All right.
I know where this is going.
Okay, so I was looking at your jacket, and every now and then I saw this little like sketch of a head kind of pop out on the side, and I paused it. I'm watching it with my wife, and I paused it, and she was like, "What? Why are you doing this? This guy is actually funny." It's like, okay. She had been watching our podcast previous to that. So she's like, why are you pausing it on the actually funny guy? What do you have to do? It's like, I think this is an MXPX jacket that Lee Hardin is wearing.
Yep.
So
did you get that from Goodwill? Or
I was going to say, when and where did you get that? Because I have never seen that jacket before.
Right. So Mike from MXPX, first off, thank you for noticing that.
Yeah.
That was intentional. I was like, I'm going to wear this. There's going to be a couple of people that catch that Easter egg.
Yeah, for sure.
Pastor Lucas.
Done.
Picked it up.
Yep. It was the first mosh pit that I almost lost a tooth in was at MXPX show. MXPX, Bleach, and 5 Iron Frenzy.
Oh, good lineup.
Yeah, it was awesome.
That's awesome. Man, I just, they had a huge impact on me from age 13 on out. That was the first band that I got into that no one told me about. Wanted to dress like him. I got made fun of for dressing like him. Didn't care. That was the first, my thing. And Mike did these live things on Facebook, live acoustic shows, and he was promoting merch. He would wear on that he would wear on his old concerts, and he would respond to messages and stuff. But I bought it as soon as I could. There weren't that many, and so got it and got the dry bar like booked, and I doubt he's gonna reply, but asked him if I could wear this on my upcoming special. He was cool with it. That led into some more conversation about being on his podcast, which got to be on his podcast.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah. Once on the phone, and then when I was in Waco, he might have moved back to Bremerton, but he lived in Waco at the time. He came to the show that I was at, which was really weird because I know his laugh.
Right.
And so, yeah. And then I got to go to his house, do a in-person podcast, and it's the Mike Herrera podcast, but you might as well have called it the Chris Farley Show because I fanboyed the whole.
Hey, do you remember that time that you?
That
was awesome.
Yeah, that was what I did. I was like, he's trying to ask me about comedy.
Yeah.
What's that like? I'm like, yeah, whatever. You remember that song on Street Politics? Remember that? That was cool.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. But yeah, that blows me away. I even got to interact with a childhood hero of mine. Man, but that was, I knew no one else was going to have that jacket, even though I just saw a guy on Dry Bar with the same type of jacket. It's not MXPX, but it's the same design.
Right.
He's wearing the same jeans as me, black t-shirt, and he's talking about McDonald's, and he's a black guy. And so I'm like, this is like the Bizarro version of me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But he's talking about fast food, dressed like me, and I'm going, this is weird. No.
But he didn't have the MXPX jacket, so I'm sure he's great, but still not as cool. And that's what counts.
Cool jacket. Yeah, he was very funny. He was a very funny dude. But yeah, I don't wear the jacket as much. This is gonna sound weird, but I feel weird wearing it after it's been on
after you wore it on the special.
Yeah, because it's like you meet someone, you're wearing the jacket. Oh yeah, I did a comedy special. They go then watch your comedy special, and
they're
like
this freaking guy is wearing the same thing every day.
Well, and unless that becomes your thing, right? Like that was Steve Martin's thing, was that he dressed in that white suit all the time. And so it was always, everybody expected him to dress in the white suit. And he was like, eventually that's what I had to do.
But then his hair went white and.
But yeah, but that I think that happened like 19
like 30
for him.
Or something.
Yeah. I'm sure you read this in his book or heard about the reason why he had the white suit. He was doing all these huge arena shows, and he's like, they need to see me. So it's dark out. I can't wear anything. I gotta make sure they see I'm on stage doing my thing. So
yeah. That's pretty awesome. The jacket I will say that as soon as I saw the jacket, I was like, honey, I need to find that. And it's that, and she has scoured the internet and cannot find it anywhere. She's like, I really wanted to get you this jacket, but I'm sorry, it's not going to happen.
They do have a hoodie out it's all black. It's got the same logo. It's again, it wouldn't be the same.
Not as cool as the jacket.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
So what was it?
I'm pretty crazy because.
Oh, nice.
There you go.
The logo. So I've told you I've been all in on them for a long time.
So did you show him the tattoo whenever you got to sit down with him?
Yeah.
What was his response?
And he went into the story about how he's the first MXPX tattoo is on him.
Nice.
He collaborated with a friend to draw it out, and they did some editing with it. So he's got the first MXPX tattoo, and he thought it was cool. My dad even thought it was cool when I first showed him. This is an old tattoo now, but when I first showed it to Dad, my dad took him back to a memory because he took me to my first MXPX show, which he was not an MXPX fan, but he stood in the front row with me.
He sounds like a good dad.
Yeah, that's a good dad. And I was going crazy as a 14-year-old, and I didn't know this, but my dad was like, "Hey, during that show, you were going crazy. Mike and Tom, they were getting up, they were coming together between songs and pointing at you and like smiling. So they were like, man, that guy's crazy over there." So that was the news. That didn't know they were doing that. So
that's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Yeah,
No,
his dad. He went deaf for like 2 weeks after that show.
But those
So,
are important father-son moments, and it's I gotta say it's good to hear as many people as we talk to. What is it? Doug told us that everybody hates their dads. That's in entertainment. That whatever. So
They hate
it's
farmers.
good to, they hate farmers. They hate their dads, but they're really nice people. But it's good to hear some of those stories, man. I think that's one of the biggest things that we're missing just societally right now is the connection between fathers and sons, and hearing stuff like that is pretty awesome. And it sounds like your parents are really supportive of your comedy as well, and everything that you're getting to do, and that's great, man.
and I joke about living at home. Being older, doing it, I will say it's given me a better chance to reconnect, as well. So we've done a lot of bonding. We ride motorcycles together, play guitar together.
Okay, so what kind of bike do you have?
Indian Scout 60.
Nice, very nice.
Being single is awesome. You can get those things.
Yeah, so that was one of the things. Before I got married, I got all of my toys. So I've got a couple of Harleys, and
sweet.
And I was working for Harley Davidson and was toying with moving to getting an Indian. And we just did an interview with one of the guys from Forged in Fire, and he sold his Harleys and went all in on this beautiful Indian motorcycle. And he was like, "I'll never go back." So now I'm toying around with the idea of maybe going for it, because they were the original American motorcycle company, man. And the Scout is a gorgeous bike, dude. That's awesome.
It's everything classic. I see that, and suddenly I'm in the 1950s.
Yeah.
Everything is just shaped perfectly on that thing, and I'm biased. It's my first bike, so I'm just used to it. I can't compare it to other bikes like a Harley. But yeah, I love that thing. So.
Yeah, if a Harley says freedom, an Indian screams it. Like it's just so cool.
I like that. That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, I can confirm
You can
for
purchase that
anyone
Indian
listening who is
motorcycles.
not married, get a motorcycle before you get married. I was able to get my motorcycle license. That's all. That's as far as I've gotten so far.
And that's in the last 13 years.
Yeah.
She's let you get your motorcycle license.
I got the license, and then there were several people from work that lost limbs from motorcycles, and then we determined that was not for me.
Yeah. When the wife goes, "Oh, that sounds dangerous."
Yeah. She wants me to be alive, which I get it, and I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Understandable. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's one of the beautiful things about being single. That's also, so you and your dad ride bikes together. Does he have an Indian too, or what kind of bike does he have?
He's got a Yamaha Bolt. So
okay, right on, man.
Similar to a Sportster with the Harley. So I learned on that one. Then got the Indian. So.
Then you got the Indian.
Yeah.
Dude, that's so cool. So, well, if you're in Dallas again soon, once the world opens back up, you're gonna have to come for a ride with us. We'll have to go down. There's a lot of really, really great places to go. I'll
bring my license.
Yeah, bring your license. we get some friends and family members that have some spare bikes, man. You'll have to hop on and go for a ride with us.
Okay, that would be great. I would love to do that.
Yeah.
So.
Well, hey, everybody, thanks for listening. This is Lee Hardin, the dry bar comedian, also one of the two halves of the Dynamite Drop-In podcast. Check out his comedy special. Check him out at leehardincomedy.com. He still has some shows that are listed for 2021, so there's some stuff that's upcoming. He's looking like he's pretty well booked, so make sure that you check his stuff out. Lee, thanks so much for being on, man. We appreciate it.
That's so much fun. Thank you, guys.
Well, Mr. Pastor, Mr. Reverend.
Yes.
Lee Hardin.
Yeah, Lee Hardin. That was really enjoyable. Lee's a really down-to-earth guy. He is somebody that is on a bit of an upward trajectory whenever it comes to comedy, just in general, as his career's moved that way, just getting to go full-time, and then the world shutting down is... that to me is probably one of the craziest parts of any story that we've heard of anybody, right? Because we've talked about this on our podcast before. Like, we grew up the way we know each other. We played in a band together, and there were always those moments.
You said it correctly that time.
We played in a band together instead of
I played guitar for you.
Yeah, well, you're welcome.
Yeah.
You're moving up in my memory.
I like it. Please go on.
Yeah. So, but there were always those times where we were having these discussions with the two of us, and then the two guys we were in a band with, Brandon and Jared, who you wanted to originally start a podcast with and got stuck with me. So we were talking about over and over again, especially during the last few months, is can we do this as a living? Are we going to be able to quit our jobs? And there were moves that we made where we left 40-hour-a-week jobs to move to waiting tables, because waiting tables gave us more flexibility for more gigs. And so there were different risks.
Also, it was a nice ego boost.
Yeah, but there were different risks that we took, but we never took the plunge to say, you know what?
Yeah.
We're gonna go full time. This is gonna be the overarching thing that we're gonna put all of our eggs in this basket. And he did it. So I have a ton of, just admiration and respect for him making that leap. But then on top of that, everything else that's happened within this past year, and he's stuck with it and found creative ways to do it, it really gives me a sense that this guy he's going to make it.
Mm-hmm.
To like the Dry Bar Comedy stuff and the breakout year that he had, and the end of 19 and into 2020 in the beginning, that's only just gonna continue. And he's funny.
Not to mention he got an MXPX jacket.
Yeah, that was cool.
Look, the guy's a winner. Okay.
Yeah, and he's been on Mike's podcast twice.
Yep.
Which is between the two of us, that's 4 more times than either one of us have gotten to be on Mike's podcast. But that's really cool. We've had the experience of getting to interview some of these people, but Leanne Morgan and David Baker and Stephen Mansfield, they're not calling us saying, hey, do you want to come on my podcast? And that's what he got. That had to have just been absolutely awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Getting to go there.
I can't say that I would do anything differently than what he said, where he had the Chris Farley moment.
Right.
I would probably do the same thing.
Oh, no doubt.
I just start rehashing my favorite things that they've done and talk about it and say, yeah, that was pretty awesome. Stupid. I totally relate to that.
But we've almost had some of those moments in our interviews.
I know.
David Baker, what was your favorite sword?
Yeah.
It's the Indian Tulwar. Cool.
I think I had that with Leanne Morgan. I brought up a couple of her bits.
Yeah.
And talked about it. And I realized halfway through, I was like, I don't really have anything to say at the end of this other than that was funny.
Yeah. Well,
I really liked that joke that you told.
That was awesome.
Oh man, this is bad radio.
And asking Jeremy about, hey, what was it like being hit in the back of the head with this? And then he tells us, hey, you know what? You need to talk to Lee. Lee's funny. We watched Lee's comedy special. It was great. And then we're sitting here talking to him. We're like, so talk to us. You love fast food. What fast food do we need to try? Why are we like this bundle of nerves when we're talking to people sometimes? And thanks for bailing me. This has been fast food talk with Lee.
Hopefully
fired.
it's funny.
Yeah,
it should be.
He was a great interview. It was really cool getting to talk to him about his journey.
And I got to confront him on his Taco Bell addiction that should not be since they dropped the double decker. I'm sorry, but Taco Bell, get it together.
I found something.
You did one thing really well. That was it. The double decker. And the quesadilla is fine.
Yeah. I mean, fine's the
double decker was on point. That's all I got to say.
But not anymore.
Nope.
Yeah, I really liked the way...
It's a crispy taco inside of a soft taco. How hard is that?
Too hard.
Charge whatever you want. $5. That's fine. Give me 2 of them with some hot sauce.
And you would just pay $5 for it. And then your wife would be like,
probably not
$5.
often, but I would do it.
You would do it.
If they brought it back as a special, I'd go get
like
one.
the McRib. That if they just like periodically brought back the double decker taco, then you'd go get it.
They can do all their promotions. The double decker is back for a limited time, and I'll go get one.
Yeah, there you go.
I'll go get a couple.
And now you're at Taco Bell once a day every week
until that stupid promotion ends, like the McRib.
So one of the things I really liked about the way he talked about comedy, especially when we asked him, what's your favorite thing? It was all about the audience and the opportunities that he got. He was very careful, very well thought out when he went to talking about not promoting himself, even though this medium of comedy is all about him. It's whether or not people think he's funny. Whether
It is
or not
a
people
funny
think he's
dichotomy
clever.
of you have to be some kind of a narcissist to get up on stage with a microphone. You're the only person and you're going to talk.
Yeah.
But actually something Doug TenNapel said reminded me of what Lee was talking about with, Doug said that good art should relieve the suffering of others to some degree.
Yeah, should elevate the suffering of others to
there you go.
some degree, yeah.
Which I think is what comedians do,
Yeah.
which is why I love them so much.
And he talked about the gig that he got to do for the foster, the people that were doing adoptions and things like that, and getting to be the bright spot in an otherwise not just dark moment or dark year, but for some of these people, for like dark
It's continually
existences
dark.
for them. And just that was the joy that he pulled out of it, and that the best parts of comedy were getting, those things, or somebody saying, hey, you know what, I've had a rough year, things have been so difficult for me, but you made me laugh and made me forget about all of that stuff. That has to be just a pretty incredible feeling. And I think that talks a lot, or speaks a lot about the guy's character, that those are the things that he remembers the most about comedy. Like in this crazy year, and in a place where he was very open with us about, the decision he made at the end of 2019 to do this full time has been one that he's second guessed, but with, just the character of the guy, Lee Hardin, that these are the things that he really was looking forward to. This is what for him makes the difference and makes all of it worth it. Like it, not to sound too cliche here, but it did sort of seem like the perfect, almost like a Hallmark movie wrap-up ending. Is like this, this is the reason that I do it, is for other people. And I thought that was a really interesting take on comedy in general. The thing that he does, and the reason that he does it is it's not for laughs, it's not for ego, it's because of the way he's seen it change other people's lives. And he, like you said, it doesn't happen every time, but when it does, those are the moments that he really holds on to. And that was really cool.
It was cool.
And I don't know that there are very many people that we've talked to, or that even in the ones that we have, that would be willing to say like, no, like that's the best thing. Several of the people we've asked this question to that's gotten cut, is they're talking about the best gig that they ever did, or this, that, and the other. And he's talking about these very heartfelt moments. It was really neat to get to see that side of somebody whose life is making fun of themselves and others. And then he comes back to, no, the best part about it is actually doing things that alleviate.
Having a positive impact.
Yeah, alleviate, the realities of everything for a few minutes.
Well, I've said it before and I'll say it again. Comedy is what we need right now. I mean, there's so much stuff to make fun of and to, and all that stuff, but making people laugh, bringing a little light into the world. Stay hard, comedians. And also, if you have a daughter of eligible age or a granddaughter, send I don't know, headshots or maybe a resume to us to Reverend and Reprobate at gmail.com. We will put together,
we'll vet them.
We'll vet them. We'll pick our selects and we'll send them over to Lee Hardin. So, we got to get that man a good wife.
Yeah.
That was my takeaway.
That was your takeaway?
Yeah. We got to get rid of this motorcycle. He's got 5 too many guitars up on the wall. You only need one.
Oh man, you sound
obviously.
So much,
I don't believe that.
Sounds so much like our wives and our moms. What's the difference?
Yeah. Why do you need a red one? The other one's blue. It's fine. It sounds fine.
Why does this one have horns on it? Is this a devil guitar? No, it's a Stratocaster. Put it down.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to touch this.
But
man,
no, Lee Hardin.
That was another really
super fun interview.
Really fun interview. Another great guy.
I did not ask him to be my friend. I want to start doing that.
You're going to start asking people to be your friend.
Maybe I'll follow up with an email. Yeah, thanks for coming on. Also, would you be my friend?
And then we'll just include it in next week's episode. Just a little screenshot. Lee Hardin said he'd be Danley's friend.
Yep.
Not on Facebook, but there are a number of ways that you can get Lee Hardin's comedy. His Facebook page, his Instagram are all going to be below in the show notes and in the links in the description for these videos. Check him out at LeeHardinComedy.com. Look up Lee Hardin, Hardin. on YouTube. Check out his Dry Bar Comedy special. That is one of the ways that Lee is making it through the pandemic. So the more views, the more likes, the more comments that he gets on that, the better that's going to do for him. And as we really want to support some of these great comedians that, their typical medium's been taken away from them, and now they're doing what they can to survive. If you want to book Lee for your Zoom meeting or any of those other stuff,
or if you've got a ranch and you got some prisoners coming, don't tell him about it in advance. Just book him.
Yeah, he needs a PV amp and a microphone
and some grass and a horse. He'll kill.
He'll be fine. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to check out Lee Hardin. Make sure to like, subscribe, ding the little bell so that you get notifications whenever there's new videos.
Give it a little dingle
that are posted. And I think that this episode is it's ended long ago.
Yeah. I'm sorry we wasted your time. Thanks for watching.
This is why you should never listen to Reverend and Reprobate. Yeah. Thanks, guys. We'll see y'all next week.
I am Lee Hardin, stand-up comedian, and the reason you should never listen to the Reverend and the Reprobate is your Arminian pastor grandfather would spin in his grave 10 times over.